Hi, this is Gloria with stampwithgloria.com. Today we're going to learn how to stamp a background and then kind of the thought process I have in stamping backgrounds. Backgrounds are really cool with all of the different background stamp sets that we have, where you can develop something on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then you can either cut it up and make 4 different cards that have unique backgrounds, or you could scan it into Adobe and then use it for backgrounds on your blog site, or you can fill in the background for stamps and see what everybody comes up with. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. I like to stamp backgrounds on the shimmery white. In person, it has a really pretty shimmery look to it. And so when you hold it up to the light, it kind of sparkles a little bit. It's also a thicker paper, so it takes product a little bit better, and you can do a little bit of watercoloring on it, and it's not going to warp. So when you looked at these backgrounds, you were kind of like, well, what do I do? And one of the simplest things to get a lot of color on real quick is to use our foam brushes, and they come like this. There's 4 foam heads in each box, and we're going to just take one out. They're very easy to use. You just open, and the roller comes off. There you go. The roller comes off, and then you can put on a new one to do a new project. You probably want to start saving these. I think the easiest way to save them is maybe label a little snack sandwich bag, and then you'll have that color. And once you've got all the colors, you'll just need the handles, and you can just keep getting roller heads. But this is how they come, 4 in a box. So I'm going to take a roller, and then right down the middle, I just want to get some really good color on real quick. So I'm going to take our stamp pads. This one's already open, and I'm going to roll the roller on the stamp pad. Remember, when you want to cover the whole circumference of the roller, you want to go back and forth a couple of times, okay? And you want to lift that roller as you're rolling so that you get color all the way across. And then we're just going to roll right across this, and I kind of want it to look like the sun is shining down and there's streaks of sunlight. So now I'm going to go over it a little bit more in spots that I think are too streaky, kind of soften them up a little bit. See how that works? And then push, if you want more ink in one area, just push down harder on the roller. More ink will come on the paper. That makes sense, right? But you want light and dark areas. So we're going to just start with that. It has some really good light and dark areas. And you can see that was fairly quick. Then we're going to take a sponge. Now the sponges come 3 in a pack, and they, I've cut them up. I've cut this up into 8ths. Okay, so you don't need a lot of sponge to do a project, but I'm going to take and I'm going to ink up the sponge with this color. This is Always Artichoke, and I'm going to just do little circles here. So what I'm trying to do here is just to get some background color on. I'm not really defining anything yet. I'm going to use the rubber stamps to do that in a second. And for this picture here, you can see that I decided that that side was going to be my tree line. Okay, now I really like how this turned out, but I do want some more light and darks in this background that I'm doing now. And that's the beauty of doing these backgrounds, is you can change them up as you see how you can fit it to each project. So I went ahead and I just, in circles, just do a whole bunch of circles and get that color down. And then I have some color in the pad here, and I'm going to take an Aqua painter. And I've already got water in there, and I'm going to pick up some color. And I want it kind of juicy, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this background and then make it look a little bit more I guess cloudy looking is the word I'm looking for. And I want to really kind of soften these edges where I sponged a little bit. Now I'm not going to go over the entire piece because I do want some light spots. So I'm just going to take and do a couple of areas and call it good. So once we get to that point, I want to start sponging in some colors in other areas. So over here, I decided I wanted to do some different things, and I actually used the train to tuck into here, which I thought was a pretty good idea. But the colors that I used were crumb cake and tip top tote, and then a little bit of gray down in the corner here. So I'm going to keep this area light though. Okay, see how I've got it light up there yet? So we're going to keep that light, and then we've got some really good color going on here. So I'm going to take another sponge, and I'm going to take the crumb cake stamp pad, and again I'm just going to bring some color in, and then I'm going to just take a circle and tuck the color in wherever I think I want it to go. Okay, so I've got that color in there, and then I'm going to take the basic gray, and I'm going to tuck some of that color in. So here's another sponge, take the basic gray, and we're going to tuck some color in here. A lot lighter though, okay, so that we can do some really kind of cool things with it later on. So I didn't put a ton of color in there, just a little bit, but I think it looks really good. And then we've got the crumb cake there, and now we're going to use the tip top tote. But now we're going to use the Gorgeous Grunge stamp set, and it's got all of these really cool, oops, there you go. Can you see it? Yeah, all these little cool designs in it, and I'm going to show you how to build on them to get kind of a look here. So we're going to use the tip top tote, and we're going to use this kind of groovy looking stamp splotchy set here, and I'm going to take it and ink it up, and then I'm going to just start stamping like the edges. And again, I'm just trying to blend in over where I use the sponge, okay, and create just an area of color there. I'm just going to go ahead and just stamp off here so that I can use another color. And then I'm going to go back to the Always Artichoke, okay, and we're going to tuck some in here too. I might go a little bit lighter, might go a little bit darker, I might stamp off. So I'm probably going a little bit lighter on the green because I have an idea of what I want to do eventually. And so now we've got some like great color here, and it's a little intense on this side. So I want to take a lighter color, and let's go back to like let's go to Delightful Dijon, okay? So this is a darker version of the Crushed Curry, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to put some color in this dark background. Isn't that cool? So it's going to pop a little bit. So we've got some nice like groundwork coming up here. I mean, you've got some great color going on there. I just love that. So then over here on this here, you're like thinking, oh, what is she going to do there? That's kind of boring and blah, blah, blah. And I use blah, blah, blah a lot of my vocabulary. If you have never seen me do a video before, you'll hear me do blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I want to soften this out a little bit. I want to still keep it pretty light. So we cleaned off the stamp pad, and I'm going to use our craft white pad here, and I'm going to start stamping. Oops, I didn't clean it off very well there. I probably should have. My bad. I feel like one of my customers now. They never ever clean off the stamp pad. That's okay. That's okay. It's my creation. I can do that. So I'm going to just stamp off a little bit of color there. And then I do want to put some more definition over here. So we're going to stamp some white color over here. It's going to be less intense than over by the gray though. Okay. So we're just going to stamp out into the area a little bit. So now it's like looking kind of funky. I mean, I can see like a whole kind of space theme to this. I can see some grunge going on, you know, if you want to do a really cool grunge picture. I can see a lot of stuff going on here. So it's getting to look a little bit fun. So now I'm going to take the speckled stamp set here, and oops, the light is not cooperating. There we go, the speckled stamp set, and I'm going to use the Delightful Dijon again, and I'm going to create some texture in here with the speckles, go into the white a little bit, kind of bring it all together. Do it out to the side, maybe here too. I never know what I'm going to use for a stamp, so I just want to get it kind of cool looking. Oh, and then I see it's a little bit too defined there, so I went over the dots again so that it's not as defined. And then I want to bring in some bigger splotches. Let me show you this. Yeah, big fat splotches. I'm going to take those and just randomly put them in here and there, just to give more texture again, more texture, more texture. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. And then if you want to spruce it up just a little bit more, I have this really cool kind of streak of lines, and you can pull it in on the bottom. See how that looks really neat? I might stack it. In my original one, I did it in opposite corners. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. Okay, I think I'm good with that. I can work with this and do some really cool things with it. If you scan it and use it for a blog, you've got this nice lighter area to put in words, whatever you want. You've got these really cool outside areas where you can do something neat like I did with this. See, it's very similar like I did with the trees. And remember, when you're stamping on something this dark, you want to go a bit darker with the stamp color that you're going to stamp on it. And if you stamp over the top of it with other things like the circle, remember to stamp a tree back over the top of the circle so it kind of blends in a little bit better. This train on this side, I just stamped him in black, and then the trees are in the same set, and I just tucked the trees in behind him. It wasn't a big deal. You see that sun up here in the corner? Well, that is actually my original logo stamp from 20 years ago when I incorporated into impressionistic stampers, and I still have it. I'll show it to you. But way back then, we had to get our stamps made, and so this is my logo stamp. We stamp all day and stamp all night, impressionistic stampers. I bet some of you did not know that, but there you go. That's the deal. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little video on how to do a background. As you can see, it's super easy to do, and you can get a lot of use out of doing backgrounds. Plus, they're your original art, so you don't have to worry about copyright laws when you put them up on the blog. Thanks. You guys have a great day. Bye.